Hello everyone and welcome back to another amazing video. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can maintain your daily accounts or manage all your expenses on WhatsApp. We will simply use the WhatsApp chat feature for this. And if you see here, I have created a group. Now WhatsApp group creation is very simple, but if you don't know how to create the groups on WhatsApp, you can check out the video I've given in the I button on the top of this video. So let's continue. Now just remember, whenever you make an expense, just mention that expense and mention the amount in positive. And whenever you receive some amount, just mention that, for example, a revenue in minus and just post it. It is that simple. Now, why the revenues or incomes are in minus and expenses are in positives? Because majority of your transactions will be expenses, not income. So incomes are one-off transactions in a month. So that's why I prefer to keep the sign separate so that you can do some working to separate these fields on Excel. Now, after that, I'll go to these three dots and click on more and then click on export chat. Export chat with media or without media. I'll export it without media. Go to Gmail and here send it to yourself and send. Now afterwards, let's go to the desktop screen and I'll show you further how you can make an Excel sheet out of it, whatever you have maintained in your WhatsApp chat. Now here we have received our email. Just download this chat and save it. Now the chat you have just downloaded will be in Word format. Now when you open this chat, select all and copy it. But before pasting it in Excel, you have to make sure that you need to change the date format to month first, then date and then year, because the WhatsApp default export format when it is converted in the text document is that. If you notice here, this is August 3rd, 2022. So we have to make sure that our date sequence should be same. Here I'm using Windows 11, so I'm explaining this option. Let's right click here and click on adjust date and time. Go to additional clocks, date and time, change date and time, change calendar settings. And from here, you can notice that you won't be able to change it properly to format that you want. So I'll go to additional settings and then click on date. And from DDMMYY, I'll change it to MM. It is using slashes. So I'll use slash MM, DD and YY. Apply this and click OK. Apply, click OK. OK and OK. Now let's close. Now let's copy all the text again. And now that we have made sure that month, date and year sequence are showing correctly here, I'll create a new Excel sheet and write here income and expenses sheet, or you can say daily accounts sheet, and paste it right here. Now you will notice that when you paste it on Excel, all the data will appear on a single column, which we don't want. We want the text to be separated in date and description separately. So first of all, we have to separate the dates with the other description. And the best way to do this is separate by comma. If you notice here, after each date in a particular row, here comes the comma, and which is best for us because we will tell Excel, hey, whatever is after comma, just separate it and bring it to the column B. And that option is called text to columns or data separation options. Just select the whole column, go to data, click on text to columns. Now here we will choose option of delimited. It explains what delimited is. Characters such as commas or any special character separates the field. So just select that, click next. Now delimiter. This screen lets you set the delimiters your data contains. You can see how your text is affected in the preview below. So I'll uncheck all of this and check comma only. When we check comma, it will show you the data preview that your data would look like this. Dates will be on the separate column and all the other details is in the other column. This is exactly what we want here. Click on finish. And since the column size is too broad, I'll just double click between these two columns. When this sign appears, double click to compress it. And by the way, if you want to learn this full course of Microsoft Excel, you can get it from Skillshare or Udemy. The link to both of these platforms are attached with the description. Okay, let's continue. Now for the other column, I'll just expand this column. Just double click here. Now if we notice here, we want only the description and the amount to appear to maintain our calculations. We don't want this name to appear every time with each single row. Neither we want the time. So how can we separate that? One method is we separate it by colon sign, right? But there is one other easier way to do this. We want to remove anything from starting up till colon sign. So the simple way of doing this is select the whole column and press Ctrl F, replace, and in find what, I'll write find anything. Static is for anything which is before the colon sign. So this means I want to find anything before this and including the colon sign. So whatever all this is, just replace it by nil, blank. So we will not write anything here. Let me just zoom it a little bit. So it says whatever is before this colon sign, just remove all of this, including the colon sign, and replace it with nil. Let's see what replace all does. All replacements are done. And if you can see here, it's a magic. Now we have only the description and the amount. Now let's change the headings. Let's get rid of this first row because we don't want that, and insert a new row. Name it as date, name it as description. Now the final part is we want to separate the expenses here, this amounts here. Some of them are in negative and some of them are in positive. The simple way of doing this is I'll write 300 and I'll write 4500. As soon as I start writing the second number, it will automatically suggest all the separations via flash fill. Now this is the option that you will only get from Office 2013. So if you're using some earlier version like 2010 or 7, it will not appear like this because flash fill option is only introduced from Excel 2013. So that's perfect. Hit enter. Some of medias were shared, so it says media omitted. You can delete that manually. But majorly all the expenses are separated like that. Now if you notice that since all the expenses were in positives and only one was in negative, it was not identifying it properly. But once you make only one correction, it will reread all the other types, and whatever contains the negative sign, it will put the negative sign with that as well. For now, I only had expenses here, so I had nothing to demonstrate. I even made this entry by myself. But when you are managing all your revenues, all your expenses, some of them will be with negative sign and some of them will be positive. It will be able to separate that perfectly. Now in description, whenever you are using the WhatsApp chat, just make sure that you write in that particular format. Always mention the amount at the end, all the revenues with the negative sign, all the expenses with the positive sign. Just mention any detail like home water and expense amount is 910. It is very convenient and handy to do entries like that. whenever you are at store, you fill in gas in your car, just make the entry quickly in the chat. Just create a shortcut of the chat on your mobile desktop screen and just quickly enter all of this. I manage all of my expenses of my office like this. So you can give it a try, like write amounts here and done. You can see that you don't even need to mention the date on which date you entered which expense. You can easily extract it via filters. Just apply the filters. Control Shift and L is the short key. And for particular month, for example, I want to extract the expenses for June. I'll uncheck all of these and select June only. So these are expenses just for June. Now, if you want to separate the revenues and expenses column as well, you can easily do that by using that exact technique that I showed you right before this. That is, select the column, go to Data tab and click on Text to Columns. Use the delimited function, and this time the special character will not be comma, it will be dash or minus. So I'll select and finish. You can see here, whatever it is with negative sign, it will be separated on a separate column. I don't have much to demonstrate here in the negatives, but you get the point. And afterwards, you can make the total or any calculation you want out of it. And if you're using some keywords to extract your expenses, it might be useful with the filters. For example, all the generated expenses or petrol. You can see here, this is all the petrol entries. So guys, this is how you can easily manage all your accounts or your income and expenses in the most handy way possible without use of any app. Just go to your chat and write the expense as you incur it. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so that you can get notified of all the future videos. This is Saad signing off from today's video. Take care.